I call this meeting of the Hurst-Euless-Bedford Independent School District to order. The record showed that a quorum of board members is present, that this meeting has been duly called, and that notice of this meeting has been posted in accordance with Texas Open Meeting Act, Texas Government Code, Chapter 551. Good evening to everybody. Great to see everyone here this evening. We are going to start this evening with an invocation by Daniel Hawkins from Martin United Methodist Church.
Thank you, President Romero. Thank you, Dr. Harrington, for the invitation to be here as a part of our community. May we give our attention and time to the Lord. Most holy and loving God, we give you thanks for this chance to be and to be together. And as we gather at the beginning of this time in which we pray that your wisdom might be loud and clear, we pause to breathe, knowing that your Spirit and the wisdom inherent within it is as close as our very breath. God, we pray that this time might be done and put to use for your work and for the thriving mind, body, and spirit of all of the young people of HEB ISD. God, we know that things will be considered today that are hard, that are challenging, for which there is no simple answer, but many difficult choices. We pray that your wisdom might abound and abide, and that all that we do in this room and beyond this room would serve our young people, training them up in the way they should go, that in their own day and time they might not depart from it. God, we give this to you this day. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Hawkins. All right, now we're going to do our Pledge of Allegiance, which is going to be led this evening by some students from Meadow Creek Elementary School. We have Arena Dresha. Sorry. And I believe you're the other. Some people walking. Okay. There were supposed to be two, but I think we're. Okay. Okay.
I think we used two.
Perfect.
Yes. Perfect time.
Come right up here.
So come right up here. And we have the American flag on this side and the Texas flag on that side, so you can start us on one and then lead us in the other. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you so much. If you'll stay up here for just a second, we have a couple certificates to give to you guys.
And I'm going to tell you about these two young people. Saudi is a sixth grader at Meadow Creek Elementary. He has been at Meadow Creek Dolphin since kindergarten. He has a younger brother at Meadow Creek and an older sister who just graduated from high school. Outside of school, Saudi participates in sports like soccer and football. He exhibits the campus's core values of compassion, integrity, connection, growth, and having a positive attitude. He is not just a consistent role model to his peers, but he also is a consistent role model to the school community. And Arena is a sixth grader at Meadow Creek Elementary. She has also been a Dolphin since kindergarten. She has an older sister at Trinity High School and a younger brother also at Meadow Creek. Outside of school, Arena enjoys playing volleyball and hanging out with her friends. She too exhibits the campus's core values of compassion, integrity, connection, growth, and having a positive attitude. Also, Arena is not just consistent role model to her peers, but also to her school community.
Thank you. Tonight, the Board of Trustees is meeting in its regularly scheduled monthly meeting to officially act on the items included on the posted agenda. The board welcomes and appreciates comments and input from the community. Open forum is provided at each meeting to allow the public to address the board. There will be two open forums tonight. Open forum number 1 is to hear requests regarding agenda items only. Open forum number 2 is to hear requests or make comments regarding non-agenda items and will be heard at the end of the meeting. Those addressing the board are asked to limit their comments to 3 minutes per meeting. The speaker should identify his or her name, group affiliation, if any, and make a brief presentation with an identified solution if one is sought. Remarks should be addressed to the board as a whole. Oral presentations may not include charges against any employee or board member by name. It is my responsibility to determine if the person addressing the board has attempted to resolve a concern informally or through the district's complaint policies. If not, the speaker will be directed to follow the appropriate policy. The board requests that all presentations be made in a courteous, respectful, and professional manner, and asks that speakers monitor their own behavior. If you wish to speak during one of the open forums, please fill out one of the cards located on the table in the entry hall. We're going to review our board activity chart. Ms. Dawn Jordan Wells.
All righty, I was given the pleasure of attending the Board Ambassador Academy on September the 18th, and I see a few of them in the audience. Thank you all for coming. I also attended the Superintendent's PTA Luncheon the next afternoon, where Dr. Harrington gave a great bond presentation. And on the 22nd, attended the Bell High School Pep Rally, which was so awesome, as well as a homecoming football game on the 22nd.
Ms. Ross.
I've been to Lakewood Elementary for College Day, which was a lot of fun. We got to talk to fourth graders about what college we went to, what college is like, and kind of ask them questions about what they want to be when they grow up and where they want to go to college, and it was awesome. So thank you for the invite for that. I also went to Trinity Lakes and read to Miss Wiles' kindergarten class, and that was amazing because they're my favorite little people. They told me my shoes were pretty and my hair was pretty, and I very much enjoyed my time. They were very respectful, very well-behaved kinders. I too went to the first board ambassador that we had last week, and we're so excited to have those new ambassadors going through our program. We did our Team of 8 training, which is always one of my favorite things. I also went to the Superintendent PTA Luncheon, and I love that because it's fun to see all of the PTA presidents and their principals and everybody kind of just kicking the year off, the PTA year off. And I also went last week to NTAASB, our Area School Board Association meeting, and we heard an update from Dan Troxel from TASB, and it was a very good update. And also just enjoying all the football games, Bell and Trinity. I just love this time of year. It's fun to just go out there and watch all those kids.
All right, Ms. Cole.
I too have been to a lot of things. I won't repeat any of the ones that have already been mentioned, but I do want to mention LEAD, HEB, both year 1 and year 2. And this year, HR is trying something new in the spirit of continuous improvement. And they are doing both year 1 and year 2 on the same night in opposite rooms from one another. Which is great for the HR team because, you know, they only have to do one night a week. It's a little hard for me because I have to bounce back and forth, but it's not about me. It's about those emerging leaders, and I think those are both great programs. I visited Bell Manor Elementary for the 4th grade writers celebration. And so these students had been working on for, I think, some time, a composition, and then they read it aloud to several visitors in the room, myself and several others, and they just did such a great job. So early in the school year, too. I was really impressed. I have attended several of the bond presentations at the AAUW, at Bell Manor, at Wilshire, and at Midway Park. There are still several of those bond presentations to go, so if you know somebody that needs to know about those, there's still opportunities. I also attended last Friday morning at 5 a.m. The Trinity High School pre-dawn pep rally for the news station. And those kids, boy, you would not have known it was 5 o'clock by the kids. All the adults standing around the perimeter with our coffees, you could tell it was 5 a.m. But the kids, nope, they were in it to win it, and they did a great job. A lot of fun.
Mr. Campos.
So Same here. I've attended a lot of the same things, and I don't want to repeat anything that's already been previously mentioned because we certainly get around. Two things of interest, or three things. This is the first year that I have been very engaged in the football games, on the home games. Seriously, not breaking out a laptop, really glued to it, nervous as can be. But probably the most exciting thing that I've done this year that I haven't done in years past is I've attended both pep rallies, both at Trinity and Bell, and got to be on the floor with our kids, and man, those are awesome. Our kids are amazing. They're very, very excited about that. A couple other things. I attended the bond presentation from the PTA's perspective. Good job, Joe. And then most of us attended this past Saturday, I believe, the chamber anniversary, and that's always good to get together with our community.
All right, thank you, board. I just wanted to reemphasize the Ambassador Academy has started, and it's great because we have a full class for the first time since pre-COVID. We have over 30 people participating this year, so that's a huge deal for the board. So I want to thank Ty for all the work she does putting it all together, and to the whole ELT for the lessons that they put together. It's very important for the board and very important for the community that we keep these Ambassadors Academies engaged. Superintendent comment?
Yes, I just wanted to point out college night. We had college night the same night as our first Board Ambassador Academy, so most of us were not able to attend. Brandon Johnson went over for the ELT, but we had 62 institutions, colleges, technical schools, and the military. They had a great turnout, and so we wanted to thank Stacy Force, our coordinator of guidance and counseling. And that date, they've already set next year's date, so it'll be September 16th of 2024. So they are Johnny on the spot on that. One other thing I did want to point out, our Trinity Band performed in a competition this weekend, and they are the 2023 Golden Triangle Classic Grand Champion. So the HEB marching contest is this week, so our bands will not compete, but they will perform, and so it'll be another good week of marching, and Trinity Bell volleyball Friday night. So busy week, and I think that's all I got right now.
All right, no clarifications?
No clarifications at this time.
All right. I'd like to say a quick thanks to our greeters this evening. You may have noticed 2 students in green blazers as you entered tonight. Those students are part of the HEB ISD Student Ambassador Program, which is a select group of students chosen through an application and interview process to be the face of the district. They are trained to assist with public relations and communication services, and are given the opportunity to positively promote HEB ISD while developing leadership skills. Tonight we have Giselle Ransom, a senior at LD Bell, and Isabella Schwartz, an LD Bell junior. We have been using this opportunity to hear the voice of our district students by asking the ambassadors a question. This month, we're going to ask us, tell us about a goal you have for your high school career and how participation in the student ambassadors helps you achieve that goal.
Okay, hello everyone. Again, my name is Giselle Ransom, and my main goal for my high school career was just improving the campus through student council. And so in my sophomore year, I joined as a member, and we would do teacher appreciation for decorating the doors for the Teacher of the Month, candygrams, and LD Bell Craft Fair. But that was pretty much it. And so when I joined the Student Ambassador Program in my junior year, I was able to learn my Gallup strengths and really learn how to not only learn how to use them, but really apply them and grow them. And that following year for Student Council, we were actually able to run for state parliamentarian, which we were able to win. We had our first homecoming dance in the last 20 years, which great accomplishment. Yes, yes. Yes, and we hosted other things like Spring Fever Week, and again, I was parliamentarian that year, and then now I am a senior, and I am serving as the student body president, and so I got to host the homecoming dance this past weekend. We had such great success, and now we're going to be moving on to the District 3 Fall Conference from TSASC, so 800 kids are all going to be coming here, and I owe it all to student ambassadors for just really helping me develop my core strengths and knowing how to apply them and really go after what I want. Thank you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name's Isabella Schwartz again. And I would say that my main goal for my high school career is better my communication skills and my connectedness with others. I grew up as a pretty shy kid, I won't lie to you. However, as I've gotten older, I've realized that to achieve success in the world as you go out, you do need to have connections with others and communication. And Student Ambassadors has already helped me with that. It's my first year serving. I'm a junior at LD Bell, and we went over the summer, we learned our strengths. I've already done a couple events, and I've been able to meet a lot of great people, including some of the people on our amazing school board here. I've been able to serve the community and grow those strengths and learn how those strengths impact my life. Like I said, connectedness is one of those goals. What I want to do whenever I grow up is computer science, which I know a lot of people might consider an antisocial field. However, I would argue that it's not. My dad also works in IT, and with that comes a lot of different people from all over the globe that you have to meet and talk to every single day. You have a team that you have to work with to talk over your code, say, this is what we need to work on, this is what we have to do. And Student Ambassadors is also a team, so they are helping me be able to communicate clearly with others, and it's just been amazing so far. Thank you.
Thank you, Gazelle and Isabella, for being here tonight and being our host for this board meeting. And thank you for sharing the voice of the students. Next, we are going to do the HEB Excellence in Education Awards semifinalist 2023. Ms. Hollander.
Thank you so much. Last year, the Hurst-Euless-Bedford Independent School District was nominated for the 2023 HEB Excellence in Education Award. The other HEB. That would be the grocery store. Judges were tasked with reviewing more than 1,900 applications from educators all over Texas. Of those applications, 25 districts were selected as semifinalists and went on to compete in the regional process. HEB ISD was selected as a semifinalist during the preliminary judging of the Excellence in Education Awards, which is quite, 25 out of 1,900 is a good percentage. At this time, I would like to congratulate our Board of Trustees and our staff for being recognized. And Dr. Harrington and Mr. Romero, if you would join me down here, I would like to make some presentations. As a small token of gratitude for all that the teachers do every day to inspire and enlighten young minds, the HEB grocery store gave us 2 $500 gift cards, and they were awarded to the district. Our board and our administration have chosen to share these items with our Teachers of the Year this year. So if the 2 Teachers of the Year, that is Stonegate Elementary's Jamie Blankenship, and then Buinger CTE Academy's Tony Burnett, and if you guys would stay up here just for a minute, I would like to invite Shaylin Clark from the Education Foundation to come up here as well.
So it is my great honor on behalf of the HEB ISD Education Foundation and our Board of Directors, we would like to award you each a $1,000 grant for your classrooms and say congratulations and thank you for all you do for your students and for our district, and we are so grateful and congratulations. Job well done. And we have some other members of the HEB ISD Education Foundation, and if you'd like to come up and be a part of these pictures.
All right, so at this time, we will be passing out certificates of appreciation for donations from the month of August.
Our grand total tonight is $3,659.62. Thank you to all of our businesses, nonprofits, faith-based organizations for all you do. First one, presented by Board Secretary Julie Cole, Wells Fargo to Bedford Heights Elementary for $500, which will be used to purchase copy paper and printer ink to be used in the classrooms. And Principal Martin is here. The next certificate will be presented by Board President Matt Romero. It's BLADE, Bell Leadership Association for Developing Excellence to Bel Air Elementary, $1,657, which will be used for STEM Science Night that will be held at the school. And Principal Erica Martin and Teacher Andy Garcia are here to accept. The next certificate will be presented by Don Jordan Wells. It's Office Depot number 2134 to North Euless Elementary for $887.62, which will be used to purchase teacher and student supplies during the school year. Jessica Austin is here to accept the certificate. The next certificate will be presented by Board Member Andy Cargile. Barfield Family Trust to Shady Brook Elementary, $615 will be used to provide Shady Brook Extended Day Academy with a public performance site license for the 23-24 school year from Swank Movie License. And Principal Greg Lindsay is here to accept. New Principal Greg Lindsay. Thank you all so much.
All right, thank you for those donations. We're ready for open forum number 1. Nothing, okay. And at this time, the board will be going into closed session. Pursuant to Texas Open Meetings Act, Texas Government Chapter Code 551, the board will adjourn into closed session. Pursuant to sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, and 551.076. All right, at this time, the board will reconvene into open session. We are to consent items. Is there any consent item a board member would like removed? And I will accept a motion.
I move that the board approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second that the board approve the consent agenda as presented. Please vote. And that motion passes. We're ready for reports and presentations. So item 10.01, HEB ISD Education Foundation Report to the Community. Ms. Clark.
Hello, everyone. On behalf of the entire HEB Education Foundation Board of Directors, thank you for the privilege to share information about the foundation this evening. My name is Shaylin Clark, and owner of Shaylin Clark State Farm Insurance and Financial Services, and it's my honor to serve as the chair of the Education Foundation. I'm excited to be here tonight. It's an honor and a privilege to work alongside all of you and serve the staff and students of this amazing district. On behalf of the foundation, I want to thank each of you, our esteemed HEB ISD Board of Trustees, and our superintendent, Dr. Harrington. The reason this district is so strong is because of each of you. You continue to impress me with your dedication and steadfast leadership. Thank you. I am joined this evening by a few of my fellow Board of Directors. With the HEB Education Foundation board members, if you're still here, please stand up and be recognized. I may have, I got Corey. There we go. I do have, some of my buddies stayed. As a group of very dedicated volunteers, our mission is to raise and award private funds and community resources to support the HEB ISD's commitment to excellence in education. All foundation board members and many in our community chose to support our mission through our annual Superintendent Circle of Giving campaign. And we kicked that off this year on June the 7th, and several of you were there, so thank you. And because of our lead gift donors and our sustainers who donate to us year after year, we have gifts and pledges representing over 80% of our goal for this year. And we are so honored by the community's financial support of our mission. And you'll see some of these, some of the ones that support us, our corporate community, and also individual lead donors featured here in the PowerPoint, including the HEB ISD Board of Trustees, so thank you. And most of these donors you will recognize, but one of our new platinum level sponsors is First Bank of Texas. We're very excited about this new relationship, and thank you to all of you for your support. And I see a name there I recognize, Dr. and Mrs. Harrington, and our HEB ISD Executive Leadership Team, just to point out a few. And there's our Board of Trustees, so, and many individuals. So thanks to everyone for all of your support. We also receive support for our mission through the HEB ISD staff members. And this special staff giving campaign called Are You In? Will kick off in a few days on October 1st. Last year, through the generosity of staff members, we added more than $12,000 to the Empowered to Excel grant program. For decades now, you and the staff have helped lead the way, and together we make a difference in the lives of our students. The Empowered to Excel grants are offered every year and fund innovative and educational initiatives in the classroom and on campuses across the district. During our 2023 Empower to Excel Grant Prize Patrol in early May, we delivered 33 grants across more than 27 HEB ISD classrooms and campuses, awarding just over $87,689.59 to be exact. Since 1995, the foundation has awarded more than $1.7 million to innovative education across HEB ISD campuses and classrooms. Through the grant process, we witnessed so many creative approaches to education. The online application portal for the 2024-2025 school year grants will open February 14th, 2024, and we look forward to the district's insight when reviewing the grant applications. One of my favorite grants provided by the foundation was the funding for Baxter, a support dog for Bell Elementary. It fills my heart seeing the impact Baxter has made not only on students, but teachers. Speech therapist Michaela Morton was passionate about having a comfort dog for her speech therapy students to support the social and emotional well-being of the child, not even realizing what Baxter's far-reaching impact would be. With the support of her principal, Carrie McCarty, Michaela applied for a grant to help fund the comfort dog for their school. This was the first time an application for a comfort dog had been submitted. What an innovative and creative way to provide support for the students and teachers at Bell Manor. This grant not only provided funding to get Baxter, but Baxter himself inspired and created community involvement for his support. His popularity has been actually amazing, and Baxter has become a groundbreaking grant in action. The foundation also is proud to produce the annual Awards of Excellence program and the ceremony which recognizes 33 outstanding high school seniors from Trinity, Bell, Keys, and 14 fields of study and their selected teacher mentors. We're celebrating the fact that over 23 years, we have honored 759 HEB ISD students and their teacher mentors. In addition, the two programs mentioned already, we steward an endowment fund that helps fund the Empower to Excel Grants program and allows donors to make legacy gifts. We also support Adopt a School awardees, and our board members serve as year-round advocates to the great work of our district, which just might be our favorite part of the job. So thank you to all of you for your support, and we appreciate our partnership very, very much.
Thank you so much. Were there any questions? Any comments? Thank you for everything that the Education Foundation does for the school district. The ability for our teachers to come up with these creative ideas and new ways to serve students that just wouldn't be possible under normal funding circumstances, but you guys make them possible, and the creativity that brings out of our teachers and the different ways we can serve students is just a fantastic organization. And thank you for Don for being our representative on it this year. And I always love going to the Awards of Excellence. It's one of my favorite award ceremonies all year. So thank you for being here. All right, next we have a report from the PTA Council. Ms. Peary?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Heather Peary, and I am the HEB ISD Council of PTA's president. This is my second year in this role and my third time to present to you guys. I was telling somebody earlier that it seems kind of odd to be standing here tonight because I feel like I've seen several of you a lot over the last few weeks. And more recently, very early in the morning, a couple of you. Normally I am beyond nervous, but tonight I'm super excited to share how much has happened in the few short months since I was last here. I will go off script for just a moment because some things have come up with the announcement of the ambassadors. It made me think back to I was an ambassador, graduate 2017, 2018. I can't even remember the year. But I was very nervous because I wasn't sure what I was getting into. And I sat down, and the very first person that came and sat down next to me was Rochelle. And I remember I went home, and my husband's like, "Did you have a good time?" I was like, "I met somebody on the school board." And he goes, "What does that mean?" I'm like, "I don't know, but she was really nice." And so it just made me realize that it's such a relationship building process. And what started then is probably why I'm standing here now, and why I encourage so many leaders and so many of our local PTA leaders to get involved. And so I'm so glad that you guys brought it back. I know that the goal is ultimately to have people maybe run for school board, so don't look at me. But it was a really great experience. I'm very glad that y'all have such a large class this year. And going back to the relationships, Texas PTA did come out with a new training this year on relationship building, and I was very excited about that, simply because the very first thing that I wanted to talk about was the things that Council of PTAs has been able to do this year because of the relationship that we have with the school district. So for the first time this year, as Council of PTAs, we were able to speak at the New Professionals on New Professional Day, and just to introduce ourselves, tell them who Council of PTAs was, and we've never been able to do that before, so thank you, Dr. Harrington, for letting me ride your coattail for 5 minutes on that. And then we got to present on Professional Development Day, and that was kind of unique too, because we did 2 sessions, but it was a very long session. And so the first part was just talking about Council of PTAs and what we do and how we work with our local PTAs and the programs. And then the second half was a field trip to our clothes closet. And the morning session didn't have really anybody, but that was okay. But then the second session, we had about 8 teachers, and it was really good to have that conversation, and it was very intimate, so we got to have some very good conversations, and they loved it, and they left the clothes closet and was like, "We want to come back, we want to be full-time volunteers," and so it was just a really good way to kind of teach or introduce ourselves to the staff. One of the things also this year, with having an actual full council board of 16, is that we do have a legislative chair who is super eager this year, and she saw a need with the upcoming election that with so much stuff going on in the legislation that it's not written for normal people to read. And so she has planned an event on October the 18th at the Patney Center with Representative Salmon Bajani. And so he's going to come and do a Q&A session. It's open to all of HEB parents, teachers, the community. And so he's going to explain, here's what happened in the legislative session, here's what's coming up, and he's going to explain it so that we can all understand it and explain why it's important to get out on November 7th and vote, especially as educators, and why education is so important. So we're super excited about that. And then the next thing is our local PTAs. We have 28 schools, all of them have PTAs. And within PTA, we have a lot of boxes that have to be checked to be in compliance with Texas PTA and Council. Last year, we were still working on these items late into October. As of August 31st, 99% of our locals had checked almost all of our boxes. So that was very, very exciting. We have a lot of brand new presidents, and many schools have brand new board members. So having all of this accomplished is amazing. I'm so proud of all of their engagement and their enthusiasm. We went into the summer with the possibility of a dues increase at both the national and the state level. Prior to those meetings, I met with several local leaders, and I promised them that no matter what happened, council would come alongside of them and work with each campus individually if we had to in order to help them tackle any membership obstacle that they had on their campus. As it turned out, the national dues did not increase, and our state dues only increased by 50 cents, which will take effect next August. I also challenged our council to a membership increase goal that made them very uncomfortable. All this to say that our locals jumped into action and have exceeded expectations. As of today at 11:20 a.m., the numbers show that we have 7 of our schools who have reached a 3-year high in membership. 8 schools have already reached their 114% membership increase goal. 11 schools have reached an overall increase this year over last year, and 16 schools earned the Head Start Award for August by reaching 75% of last year's membership. That's amazing. And just as a side note, before I came, Bel Air has an increase. I knew you'd be really excited, Rochelle. So I was really excited. I know, they're working very, very hard. So, and the thing too is that this represents a lot of these schools that have these like massive increases are schools that typically do not have good membership year over year. So these are like, I'm really cheering for them. And then for council, our big uncomfortable goal was also a 114% increase over last year's membership number, making this year's goal 6,468 members. We are at 4,994 members as of today. And to put that in perspective, last year we had 5,773 members, which means we're at 85% of our goal. I know that we will crush our 114% goal, and I'm looking forward to seeing what that ends up being. This year, our Back to the Future memberships are still coming in, thanks to Crystal. We're at 13 gold memberships, which is where somebody joins all PTAs, 2 Trojan, 2 Raider, and 1 Hurst, and this is the most gold memberships we've ever had. And that equates to 364 memberships across our district. So we want to make sure that we thank our district leadership, especially Conrad, for supporting the Jeans Pass for any HEB staff member that joined a local PTA. That has never been done before. Having admin, facility, and PATME support as well has been wonderful for our locals to know that that's coming. Finally, I want to highlight our clothes closet. I call this our passion project, and I say that because it has truly become a passion for so many, not just on our council, but for our community. We gained a lot of momentum last year, and we were moving full speed ahead this year. This summer, Sarah Valentino presented to other council leaders at the Texas State PTA Conference on running a clothes closet. Being asked to present is an amazing honor, and to have our district elevated like that was such a proud moment, and she did great. It was even more of an honor to have Trustee Rochelle Ross on hand to see it. Last year, we saw 1,183 students, and since August 1st, we've already seen 488 students. We are currently on track to see over 2,800 students this year. For the first time, we applied for grants and participated in North Texas Giving Day, bringing us in almost $4,000 so far this year. We have seen an increase in social media presence with a clothes closet and an uptick in volunteers and donations. We still desperately always need new socks, underwear, bras, and shoes. Our October Seats and Feets drive will kick off on October 1st, and the information was emailed out to all the PTA presidents earlier this month. We have seen an increase in communication from the school counselors and a lot of collaboration that has been so helpful to all of our families. We are so thankful for these relationships with the district that allows us the opportunity to serve these families. The HEB ISD Council of PTAs is celebrating 50 years this year. We will be doing a lot of celebrating all year long in honor of this birthday. The cities of Hurst-Euless and Bedford have issued proclamations to the Council of PTAs. We received one from the city of Bedford last month and are receiving the other 2 tomorrow night. We cannot wait to see what this year brings. We appreciate all the love and support our school board trustees and the district leadership provides us on a daily basis. You show up to all of our events and continue to be the best cheerleader that we have. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any comments?
I do. Thanks, Heather. I mean, these ladies that are serving on this council, Joe can echo this. They are working hard and they have jobs, they have families, they have PTA, and they are really knocking it out of the park. And I think one easy way that everybody can help participate, I started doing this because I saw a plea about a month ago where they need the socks and the underwear and the bras and the shoes. I donated, I put on my personal Facebook page and had 5 friends get on and donate that don't even have kids in this district. But I went ahead and just earmarked on my personal calendar the first of the month to just go on and look at their needs list. And it can be $10 or $15 for just one package of socks. But they are seeing such an increase in the clothes closet, and they need our help, and our students need our help. So I'm literally begging you all to just do what you can to help support them because they are working hard. Sarah Valentino has really taken that clothes closet to another level, so.
Okay, Heather, a quick story. A good friend of mine passed away, and he was a scout for the Toronto Blue Jays. And in the clothes I brought to the clothes closet was an original uniform from the Toronto Blue Jays, not from a souvenir shop, but from the clubhouse. So some kid in this district's wearing a $300 Toronto Blue Jays jersey to school, and he has no idea how much it cost.
All right, thank you so much for that update. Item 11.03, review revisions to administrative regulations and exhibits from TASB updates 120 and 121.
So as a follow-up to our localized policy, we also are bringing to you as an information item 4 regulations and 1 exhibit that we have reviewed, revised, and will be publishing on our board policy online. Any questions?
All right. 10.04, employments, resignations, and retirements. Any questions on that? Any questions on disbursements for the month of August 2023? All right, 10.06, advanced placement, AP, and international baccalaureate results. Ms. Harris.
Good evening. Just before Cheryl comes up, and then also Holly, just wanted to remind the board that each Friday we will send you specific school data that relates to IB, AP, as well as the MAP testing, just so that you remember we'll do that for you, and we'll have that for you this Friday.
I have to move it back down. Good evening. I'm glad to be here with you tonight to share with you AP and IB results from school year 2022-2023. So I'll start with advanced placement. Our strategic goal is student goal 1, quality indicator 1.5, with college, career, and military ready graduates, and our success measure is D. The district's AP results will meet or exceed the global average for each AP content area. Here's how we landed in comparison to the state. HEB's exam performance exceeded the state average in 76% of the courses offered and exceeded the global average in 40% of the courses offered. This pie chart, which that's gray, that looks like a big white, so it kind of looks like a Pac-Man up there for y'all tonight. But it compares 2022 and 2023 exam distribution. Remember that 3 is considered passing, so you can see that in 2023 we increased in our scores of 3 and 4 and stayed the same at 5, leading us to a nice end to the 5-year trend here, where we have more students, more exams, and an increasing passing score percentage. Also, the College Board awards these AP Scholars, and I won't read all of those to you, but they increase from top to bottom in the number of exams and the scores needed. And you can see that between 2022 and 2023, more students were awarded in all 3 areas, with the biggest gain coming in the hardest area. So that was a nice way to wrap up that season. For international baccalaureate results, we also here are doing goal number 1 and quality indicator 1.5, but we have 4 success measures that are tied to IB. E is 90% of IB exams will be passed. That means a score of 4 or higher. They go from 4 to 7. F, the district's IB results will meet or exceed the global average. G, percent of IB students earning the IB diploma will meet or exceed the world average. And then H, 20% or more of juniors and 15% more of seniors will participate in the IB program. Here are our outstanding young people who were our IB class of 2023. Of course, you can tell which group is Bell and Trinity. And I'd also wanted to take this second to introduce you. Mr. Wells is back there from Trinity. And I'd like to introduce you to Ms. Garcia if you haven't met her yet. She's the new Bell IB coordinator. So give us a wave, Ms. Garcia. And then you all know Crystal's not only PTA queen, but also works with us on our advanced academics team as well. So she does all the things. IB exams, this is a little bit of context on the past couple of years and what IB did in response to COVID. So just remember in 2021 and in 2022 exam season, the IB reduced the content on their exams and they adjusted the grade boundaries, meaning that it was a little bit easier to attain a little bit higher score. And they did that to respond to learning gaps that COVID created. And they told us from the start, from 2022, that those adjustments would not be made in 2023 and to expect some lower scores. So we did see what the rest of the globe saw, which is that our exam percentage our percentage of exams passing went down to 82%. And here's our score distribution. You can, again, we have a little white gap there that's gray, sorry. But we didn't have any students earn any ones, but you can see that 7, 6, 5, and 4 are 7 was the same, 6 was a little bit lower, 5 was a little bit lower, 4 was a little bit higher. So, it's not a terrible distribution by any means, but it's lower than we had in the previous year. Our IB diploma award percentages, we're the green, of course, global is the gold, and you can see we are just ever so slightly under the global diploma pass rate. I'll show you the exact number in just a second. For our diploma candidates, we have our kind of COVID decline there. So our 2023 diploma candidate group for the district was 92 students, but you'll be happy to see this. Our 2024 group is 136 students, and our 2025 group is 191 students. So that's those two back there doing the work. I will say that we'll lose some of those students. You all who've been here for a while, you know that we'll lose some to attrition, but we are looking really good with our numbers. So I'm very proud of the growth that we're seeing, that rebound that's happening. This puts perspective on our comparison to global. So I told you that our diploma passing rate was slightly under global. You can see, those 78.26 versus 79.67. However, our mean diploma score exceeds the global. Our diploma average points outpace the global, and our average number of candidates way outpaces the global average for classes. So I want to thank you all because these successes, I would say, are in large measure because we have an open enrollment program for AP and IB, and we can have an open enrollment program because of the support that you all give where our students don't have to pay the fees. So this is the end result. You're seeing students who are attaining these levels and getting these college credits and getting a head start. Are there any questions?
Any questions on the advanced placement results?
Or IB?
Or IB? Well, advanced placement it's both of them, right?
Anything?
I guess not.
Thank you all.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Harris. All right, 10.07, measure of academic progress beginning of year. Dr. Norgard.
And now I don't have to adjust the microphone when I come up to the stand. So. All right. This is my first time coming before you this school year with this school year's data. I've shared EOC and STAR results as we've wrapped up last year. But so here's debuting our Imagine theme that we have for the district. So we're going to imagine, because we actually know that this happens. Our data drives instruction. So the data that we're looking at this evening are measures of academic progress, specifically the beginning of the year data. So this is where we build, and then we'll come back and look at it 2 more times throughout the year. It's related to our strategic plan, specifically with success measure 1.1E, where we're looking at that growth. Meeting or exceeding expected progress is our connection to our strategic plan here. Context for analysis. This is where you always have to take off the old hat, set it aside. MAP is norm reference rather than criterion reference. So STAR, EOC, DBAs, pretty much everything else I come and talk to you about. There's this point out here that any kid that gets past this point is a check mark, and so we could have 100% of students exceed that. Norm reference means it's always a comparison. How do you look compared to everybody else? It's not, we could all run a mile this fast. It was, how fast did you run compared to you, compared to you? So imagine a bell curve. That's what we have to set our mind to, because it's very different than other reports. So I always just want to take that moment to remind you that this data looks different. So we're going to look first at reading. So the graphic of the table, those red, orange, yellow, green, and blue bands, in the table, they're the same width because in a perfect bell curve, 1/5 of our students would have ended up in each of these. So what we're really looking at is the bar below, the visual here, and seeing if I can get my cursor there, the visual here, that the blue is more than the blue area, the green stretches further down. So we like this. We'd like for there to be less orange and red and more blue and green. It means our comparisons are exceeding those national comparisons. 4th grade, we also see the same thing with smaller amounts of orange and red, nice green and blue. Here's some more reading, 5th grade, same song, 3rd verse. And here it is in 6th grade. 6th grade, all of our students would test in English. The table looks smaller, but again, we're looking at that smaller percentage of orange and red. So when you look across our different grades, actually very similar performance. What you see in particular is that red shrinks for each grade. So the longer we've had them, we tend to really be able to get that intervention in place, and we've got more students that are moving into that average, et cetera. So math, let's move to the other side of the chart. So in 3rd grade math, similar, we've got lots of green, the orange and red holding their own below the expected average. By 4th grade, that orange and red getting a little smaller in 5th grade. By 6th grade, an even smaller amount of red. So when you stack up that performance, same kind of thing. What you do see a difference, hang on, I'm going to hold that thought. I'm getting ahead of myself in a slide. So we see the shrinking red again, just as we did. So the older they are, the more we have them. They're starting off the year, those BOYs, with fewer students in the red. So now I want to look at, in a grade, how did the same group of students do on reading and math? That was one subject across different grades. So here's what I was about to say. When I look at our 3rd graders, we have more reading students in 3rd grade performing in the green or blue. As you may recall, as I brought you lots of different data points that we've talked about, math suffers a larger summer slide than reading. Families are really good at, I know I'm supposed to read with my child, but they don't always intrinsically go, I need to math with my child before bedtime tonight. They might pull out some flashcards, but really building that math knowledge is not as common, and there's lots of research that shows us that there's more slide happening in math. So that may explain why there's more green and blue on the reading side than on the math. But really fairly similar performance for this cohort of current 3rd grade students across both subjects. Very similar results for our group that's currently in 4th grade, where they're performing in reading and in math. Almost spot on with 5th grade and 6th grade. So that is the data that I have for you for beginning of year. As we move through the year, there will be more to compare. How did we move from beginning to middle of year, and where does that growth measure come in? Any questions? Yes, sir.
Dr. Norgard, you alluded to something that's made me think of something. And I just have a question, and it may not be one you have to answer now, but I'm just curious. Since it appears to me, based on your data, that the kids do better the longer we have them, is there a correlation for the mobility of kids? In other words, a higher mobility child tends to be in the red more?
I want to get you hard numbers on that. I can look at that, but yes, I mean, historically, I don't know for our specific subset, but yes, the research absolutely shows that the more a student moves around, because then almost every time the school is starting over, trying to figure out, where is this student? How do I meet them where they are? How do I get them the intervention they need versus continuity of service? I know where they were because they were with me yesterday. They were with me last week. Any other questions?
Any questions?
Okay.
Thank you. All right, safety report, Mr. Phillips.
Good evening, everybody. This is just an FYI report for you guys, kind of let you know. We were talking a few weeks ago about the numerous projects that we have going on implementing the safety standards. So wanted to give everyone an update of where we were in each of those projects. Also wanted to quickly go through, as you know, last year I was a Department of One. I do have some staff this year, which has been awesome. So Ray Fuller's doing an absolutely incredible job with our threat assessment. Fred Katoa is, I say he's the ambassador for our department. Everybody loves Fred being on their campuses. And then Nicole Gabriel will start next week. But I'm very excited to have her position and us being able to transfer some of the responsibilities for access control that maintenance is doing now and take that weight off their shoulder and put it into our department. And then Erin McKenzie is over our secretary division. So we have a really good staff and have started off with a very busy year. So I'm glad that I've had the extra help this year. These are just some of the things we're going to run through real quick. Raptor, our radios, our walkie-talkies, our cameras and software, fencing, access control and window film, our open gates weapons detection, which are the weapons detection for the high schools and for Pennington and Central, and then talk about our EOP plan, that is emergency operation, that's opening up. So our initial kickoff call for Raptor was July 26th. We have finished the integration between our systems, our IT systems, and Raptor. So I've been able to watch that over the last couple weeks as all of those have filled in where you can actually pull up students and employees now. We are getting to the point where we've been working with IT on assigning the roles of who are the administrators, who are the users, and what do those privileges look like within that. Equipment has all been received. It's over in IT in the annex building. We will be working on the installation schedule. That's going to be starting in the next couple weeks. We will be picking 2 or 3 pilot campuses, is what Raptor suggested, just to make sure, put them through for a couple weeks, make sure everything's working the way that we want. Hopefully, the goal right now is November 1st that we begin to roll out across the district with Raptor. Any questions specifically on that program? I don't think it's going to feel very different. It's a very similar process. It's just it's more user friendly and it's faster. So I think hopefully the way it presents is better than what we're doing right now. Our radios, our walkie-talkies, delivery was expected mid to late October. I do have good news that we received 1,000 today. So we received half. We were supposed to be coming in 200 to 300 at a time, and we got a large shipment. So I talked with the vendor today, and we will start programming later this week and picking our priority campuses. And every campus will have some new radios within the next 2 weeks. So that's a great thing. They have already programmed 3 campuses because we had a few sample models that came in. So I took those initial 20 and got some of our emergency campuses, but we are getting a lot more. We'll have 1,000 distributed over the next few weeks. For our cameras and software, we are we did open up, as you know, an RFP initially late spring. There was some debate on how we did the RFP from a lot of questions to the vendors, so the decision was made to pull back that RFP, go with the foundation, the software foundation first. So that will be something that will be coming out soon, and then you will see the RFP again for the camera system that we're requesting. So those are still going forward, still meeting and doing planning. I have IT identifying where all of the cameras are being dropped. So there's still a lot of work that's happening, even though the vendor itself hasn't been selected yet. And then right now, the gap plan for high-need campuses, we have had some situations this year where I know some campuses can't wait 6 months or a year for the new cameras to come in. Fortunately, through some of the safety grant money that we had from 2 years ago, that we were able to order some cameras, and then through some budget money that we were able to identify, we are being able to purchase some cameras for some of the campuses right now that have been in desperate need. We've had a few cameras go out. We've had some sped camera situations we've had to fix, and then we've really just had some security stuff that we needed to make sure was getting covered. So we do have a plan in place for just because new cameras might not be here for 6 months to a year does not mean that we're not adding all the time. And so just wanted to let you guys know that every time that emergency has come up, we have been able to take care of that campus and make sure we get an installation taken care of. Any questions on the radios or the cameras?
Any questions?
Okay, so where we are with fencing, access controls, and window film, we discussed earlier. We did identify with the first safety grant that came out last year that $1.1 million going toward the purchase of just solely focusing on fencing. We are now getting into a phase 2 where a second security second security grant is coming. We put in that application last week. We don't know what the money is going to look like from the state yet. We have a guesstimation, and we have been identifying the different other components of where the safety standards, where we can meet those. So the good thing is, as we discussed earlier, we did have the ability to move forward and plan for these security improvements. We are being able to, because we started with the right plan, a lot of the stuff that the state is asking us to now make sure that we are in alignment with, we were already working on. So a lot of this money that was coming from the state now is just going to reimburse what you already approved last year. So that's always a great thing. The open gates weapon detection, what we don't have control over right now is just the shipping lanes and getting stuff from overseas. So we are still expecting a mid to late October delivery on those. As soon as they get here, we'll be able to let you guys know, and we'll have the training and get those set up. But we do have 10 units coming in. We have 5 for Pennington, 2 for each of the high schools, and one set for Central High School, Central Junior High field. And then the emergency operation plan opened up today, so we have 30 days for that to be finished and submitted to the state. I will tell you right now, it has been finished. I have to put it before the Safety and Security Council, and then we will review that and get that submitted here in the next couple of weeks. So we will have a date. I wanted the EOP to come in first to be able to make sure we had everything in alignment, and then we'll have a Safety and Security Committee meeting sometime in the next 2 or 3 weeks. And I think that is it, short and sweet. Any specific questions? Okay, thank you.
Any questions, Dan? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we are ready for action items. There was nothing removed from the consent agenda. 11.02, consider approval of RFP 21-05 and 21-05B, maintenance supplies, equipment, and service extension.
Good evening, Mr. Romero, Dr. Harrington, and board members. It's good to be back with you once again from the exciting world of procurement. Maintenance has an as-needed demand for purchasing parts and materials, supplies, and equipment to repair our facilities. In 2021, RFP 21-05 was issued. Later, 2505B, our supplemental bid was issued for that. So these both actually expired in August, and we needing to extend those. This is the second extension of 4 possible extensions.
Any questions? I'll accept a motion.
I move the board approve the extension options for RFP 2105 and 2105B for maintenance, supplies, equipment, and services as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the extension options for RFP 21-05 and 21-05B for maintenance, supplies, equipment, and services as presented. Please vote. And that motion passes. 11.03, consider approval of RFP 17-23 Bank Depository Contract Extension for 2023 to 2025.
All right, we're doing the best we can, keeping up with our contract extension. So this is another one that slipped by us because it's a 2-year extension. So it wasn't on last year's agenda to trigger our reminder to get it extended for this time. But as a District of Innovation, we have additional leeway as to what we can do. This will be the last agreement to extend under the original RFP, which was awarded back in 2017. However, as a District of Innovation, we can continue that as needed, provided we are pleased with the service from the banking institute that we've selected. In this case, it's Wells Fargo. So we're just asking for this additional 2-year extension to be approved.
Any questions? So is it still true? I think I remember from a few years ago that when you put out these RFPs that you don't get very many responses.
That is true. It's just harder and harder to get those. That and armored car services seem to be the most difficult ones to get people to respond to. But yes, it is. It's a challenge.
All right.
Mainly to identify who to get the RFP to so they can look at it and respond to it. So,
all right, I'll accept a motion.
I move that the board approve the contract extension of RFP 17-23 for Bank Depository to Wells Fargo Bank N.A. to serve as a depositor of the school funds of the district for a period of 2 years retroactively from September 1, 2023 and ending August 31, 2025 as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the contract extension of RFP 17-23 for Bank Depository to Wells Fargo Bank N.A. to serve as depositor of the school funds of the district for a period of 2 years retroactively from September 1, 2023 and ending August 31, 2025 as presented. Please vote. That motion passes. 11.04, consider approval of electronic emergency management system.
and this item is one that we bring in for you tonight as a full approval with just one read due to the expiration date of the grant. We have to have the funds committed and expended by the end of September. This is for the silent panic alarm technology, or the SPAT grant that you've probably heard so much about, to allow us to provide silent panic alarms in all of our classrooms. And it's a split funded item, so $59,045 is the grant, which is federal requirement, and then the remainder will be taken out of locally defined capital project funds.
All right, any questions? I'll accept the motion.
I move that the board approve the purchase of the electronic emergency management system from Raptor Technologies LLC as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the purchase of the electronic emergency management system from Raptor Technologies LLC as presented. Please vote. And that motion passes. Consider approval of fiber lease for 2100 Plaza Parkway revision.
Okay, this was brought to you at the last meeting for action and was approved and presented by Ms. Hopkins. So we went to issue the PO or generate the purchase order. We found that the fund was incorrectly identified in the previous one. So this is a correction of that to identify this as from locally defined capital outlay projects.
All right, any questions? I'll accept the motion.
I move the board approve the revision of the fiber lease for 2100 Plaza Parkway as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the revision of the fiber lease for 2100 Plaza Parkway as presented. Please vote. That motion passes. Consider approval of amendment number 9 to AIA B 102-2007, standard form of agreement between owner and architect.
As you know, we've had a number of departments relocate from this facility to other facilities in this complex, depending on what their role and function is. Safety and Security Office was relocated from here over to Pat May. As a result, and with the number of increased staff members, they need space to operate. And this is to provide design services by Huckabee to outfit that or to design that and get it ready for completion through a lump sum approval of $15,000.
All right, I'll accept them. Or any questions? I'll accept the motion.
I move that the board approve amendment number 9 to IAB 102-2007, standard form of agreement between owner HEB ISD and architect Huckabee and Associates, Inc. as presented.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve amendment number 9 to AIA B 102-2007, standard form of agreement between owner HEB ISD and architect Huckabee and Associates Incorporated as presented. Please vote. That motion passes. 11.07, consider approval of elementary class size waiver for 2023-2024. Ms. Clark?
Yes, asking approval to approve a class size waiver for Oakwood Terrace Elementary in fourth grade. One student over the 24-to-1 ratio was inadvertently enrolled at the beginning of the year, and we did not want to turn that student away after they had already had their first day at school. And so asking for an exception on that situation.
Any questions?
Just for clarification, Darla, does this happen often?
No, it doesn't. It was a clerical error, and it does not happen often.
All right, I'll accept the motion.
Move that the board approve the 2023-2024 request for maximum class size exemption as submitted.
Second.
I have a motion and a second for the board to approve the 2023-2024 request for maximum class size exemption as submitted. Please vote. That motion passes. We're ready for open forum number 2. Nothing. All right, other business. Opportunity for board members to request items be placed on future board agendas. Anybody have anything this evening?
I have one item, Mr. Romero. So every 2 years, as you know, the TAD board has an election, and it goes in 2 parts. Less than a handful of organizations participate in the first part. Of the 70 entities, usually just 3 or 4 do a nomination. There's an opportunity to nominate a potential candidate for the November TAD board election. which has to be done prior to October 15th. I would like to add 2 minutes to the agenda for a possibility of adding a nomination at our next board meeting.
So it would have to be an action item at the work session on the 2nd?
Correct.
In order to get in?
Correct.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Anything else? All right, 13.02, consider approval of North Texas Area Association of School Boards 2023-2024 membership renewal. Any comments? I'll accept the motion.
I move that the board approve the North Texas Area Association of School Boards 2023-24 membership renewal.
Second.
I have a motion, a second, for the board to approve the North Texas Area Association of School Boards 2023-2024 membership renewal. Please vote. And that motion passes. We do not need a second closed session, correct? Then I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
We are adjourned.